Aliens and UFOs have intrigued humans for centuries. Are they real or not? Many people want to know the answer, but there's always an attempt to conceal the evidence of sightings of these otherworldly creatures and spacecraft. However, the truth about one such concealed evidence on the Skinwalker wrench is finally out, thanks to a leak by NASA itself. What has the revelation about the Skinwalker wrench shown about aliens and UFOs? What exactly is going on that wrench? Join us as we examine how NASA just leaked the truth about Skinwalker wrench. If you were asked about the most popular places on Earth, you would most likely mention Paris, New York, London, or Dubai. Millions of people visit these places every year. However, all these cities have got nothing on Skinwalker wrench. While they may be overshadowed by more popular mystery locations in popular culture, like the Bermuda Triangle and Area 51, Skinwalker wrench is a place so weird that it's flummoxed scientific experts and terrified even the most jaded onlookers and visitors. As the name suggests, Skinwalker wrench is a wrench, but it is a massive wrench sprawling across over 500 acres of northern Utah in a region known as the Uinta Basin. There are 1,000,001 ranches worldwide where farmers raise their cattle, but the whole area covered by Skinwalker wrench is different. It has, since the days of the early Spanish missionaries, been plagued with rumors of strange goings-on. Famed journalist George Knapp once said of Skinwalker wrench that it had been the site of simply unbelievable paranormal activity. UFOs, Sasquatch, cattle mutilations, psychic manifestations, you name it, residents here have seen it. Skinwalker wrench first came into the limelight in the mid-90s when a family known as the Shermans purchased the place. They didn't bargain for what they found, and they decided to tell the story to the whole world. And the media loves stories that make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and that is exactly how shocking the story of Skinwalker wrench is. It all started one day not long after the Sherman couple, Terry and Gwen, settled into their new home. They loved it as it was their dreamy country home, but they were in for a rude shock. Terry and Gwen were startled by the sight of a fearsome animal which they could not pinpoint what it was. It could have been a wolf or a coyote, but this animal was stalking their livestock pen. Terry quickly got his handgun and fired at the animal when it grabbed a calf in its jaws. When the handgun didn't work, Terry fired from a rifle. Terry did hit his target, but the creature didn't seem hurt or upset. It simply wandered off into the bushes. However, it left behind something, a foul stench like rotting flesh that persisted. This is where it gets interesting. In the weeks and months that followed, visitors to the ranch reported seeing unidentifiable beasts moving in the woods and letting out roars. And these were apart from strange light formations that were seen hovering and zipping about in the sky, including large orange circles and blue spheres that flew around as if directed by unseen forces. But that was in the sky. On the ground, something terrifying was going on. Most disturbingly, animals on the ranch began to die in grotesque ways. For example, some of their dogs were seemingly incinerated in the night, while cows were found dismembered and clawed out. The people ruled out coyotes attacking the cows thanks to the surgical precision of the cuts. After the Shermans and their neighbors went public with their horrifying story of happenings on the Skinwalker wrench, an unlikely character stepped into the picture, and the plot thickened even more. That was billionaire property developer Robert Bigelow. Bigelow was a successful businessman, but he was also passionate about space travel and the world of the paranormal. Bigelow personally founded the National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS, which he used to investigate everything paranormal. Funds were not a problem, so Bigelow bought Skinwalker wrench from the Shermans, who were not too sad to leave the area. Bigelow moved in and also moved NIDS operations there. He claimed the ranch presented a unique opportunity to study a rich tapestry of strange stuff. The NIDS team soon got to action, setting up monitoring equipment, observation posts, and round-the-clock surveillance. The activity triggered conspiracy theories among UFO watchers, leading Bigelow to give an interview denying he was in cahoots with the CIA or that he had prior contact with aliens in Utah. Remarkably, the strange occurrences continued while Bigelow and his team watched on intently. Researchers witnessed the same inexplicable lights that the Shermans had reported. However, in a bizarre twist, their equipment would mysteriously malfunction at critical moments, preventing them from capturing much-needed evidence. There were even cases of electronic equipment being physically mangled and shredded and wires deliberately ripped out, as if someone or something did not want to be captured on camera. One frustrated NIDS consultant, retired Army intelligence officer John Alexander, later said in an interview that a precognitive sentient intelligence was at work on the ranch, somehow predicting what the NIDS team was going to do next and scuppering their equipment accordingly. So what exactly was going on at Skinwalker Ranch? Some people would have loved to dismiss the story of Skinwalker Ranch as made up. However, the sheer number of incidents on the ranch, the number of verifiable different eyewitnesses, but with the same narration of events, and the general reputation of this part of northeastern Utah forced many to take the case more seriously than other UFO hotspots. So people began to seriously examine their doubts about aliens in light of the extraordinary stuff going on at the ranch. But there is another angle. The ranch has a connection to Native American folklore. Well, the very name Skinwalker Ranch is connected to one of the most feared entities in Navajo culture and history. Skinwalkers are powerful, malevolent witches who acquire the ability to change into different creatures. Remember, the Sherman said the strange animals they shot resembled a wolf. Well, the hulking wolf-like beast, as well as other creatures seen by NIDS observers but never recorded, have been linked to legends of skinwalkers in the region. But there is more. There is a long-known local legend connecting the presence of skinwalkers to hostile relations between two Native American tribes, Navajo and the Utes. The Navajo were more aggressive people that took slaves, including Ute slaves, and as the local legends have it, a territorial dispute led the Navajo to curse the land and unleash skinwalkers there. But that does not eliminate the possibility of aliens being responsible for the paranormal activities at Skinwalker Ranch. Some people even think they were the outcomes of some secret experiments by the government. In actual fact, Skinwalker Ranch was reportedly part of a 5-year Pentagon black budget program studying the UFO phenomenon, although the results of that investigation remain classified and confidential. There are speculations that Skinwalker Ranch is an interdimensional portal. The idea is that these odd creatures and spaceships enter and leave via these connection points from and into a parallel universe or alternate reality, a plane of existence that exists adjacent to ours but for some reason connects to ours only very occasionally and only in the night skies above a ranch in northeast Utah. Skinwalker Ranch would be bought by another owner, but that would not be the end of the mysteries. While documentaries have been made about the place, what many people don't know is that some investigators claim the paranormal phenomena follow them home. The new owner, Brandon Fugel, is another real estate developer who is also interested in the subject of the paranormal. Don't ask us why property developers have a thing for the paranormal, but after settling in, he too began to witness the unusual activities happening at the ranch. He brought in his own team of paranormal investigators that included multidisciplinary professions like physicists, engineers, scientists, and so forth. The team conducted aerial drone surveys, soil surveys, and seismic record reviews with the purpose of trying to determine whether there was a natural prosaic explanation for what had been recorded there. He said 6 months into his own investigation, he had an experience while entertaining a visiting dignitary and his security detail. He claimed there was a sighting of what can only be described as a 40 to 50 foot long silver-grayish disc-like object that performed maneuvers that were stunning and defied conventional explanation. Fugel maintained that this incident was in broad daylight and included multiple witnesses. He says after the sighting, they continued to experience paranormal phenomena. That same afternoon, they experienced almost everything imaginable, from smartphones being completely drained from about 80% charge to zero, to other electromagnetic anomalies, to acute medical episodes experienced by a number of participants. But what shocked him most was the revelation by investigators that the strange happenings followed them home. They refer to this as the hitchhiker phenomenon. Fugel said even the investigators are afraid to talk about this phenomenon publicly for fear of triggering something, but he said some colleagues reported that when they put out their instruments to measure things at their house and at the ranch at the same time, the instruments mysteriously measured the same readings despite their homes being thousands of miles away. In fact, due to the terrible experience they have had at home, some investigators have vowed never to step foot on Skinwalker Ranch again. They want to spare their families the strange activities that follow visitors to Skinwalker Ranch home. This includes Bigelow, who bought the ranch from the Shermans. He has vowed never to visit the ranch again. One investigator named Taylor related how the hitchhiker phenomenon affected him. He said his brand new car just shuts off suddenly and all the lights start blinking on and off like crazy, which he had seen happen at the ranch. Taylor summed up his findings at Skinwalker Ranch. He said he found absolute evidence of very strange phenomena taking place that generated microwaves, radio waves, gamma-ray radiation, ground vibrations, UAP, UFO appearances, strange sounds, and many other things that we simply can't explain. Fugel advises anyone visiting his ranch to prepare themselves spiritually, to armor themselves, and to enter the property with a degree of reverence and humility. He claims visitors will deal with forces that are not only strange, but potentially harmful. However, another paranormal practitioner, Frank B. Salisbury, came up with 3 hypotheses to explain the mysterious things happening on Skinwalker Ranch. 2 of them have to do with extraterrestrial beings. One of them is the nut and bolts hypothesis, which theorizes that UFOs are advanced machines traveling through space from civilizations on planets in other solar systems. The other theory is the Stargate hypothesis, which says UFOs and other paranormal phenomena represent beings with technology to travel from nearby parallel universes or other dimensions, or use wormholes to transport from one part of our universe to another. And the US government is interested in the claims about UFOs, and to reach the truth about this phenomena, it has set up the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena UAP Task Force in 2020 as part of the Office of Naval Intelligence to standardize and collect information about UAP sightings, which would be examining unauthorized aircraft where the observer cannot immediately identify what he or she is observing. The task force is to detect, analyze, and catalog UAPs that could potentially pose a threat to US national security. NASA has also made its stance on UFOs known. The agency's administrator, Bill Nelson, once said he did not think UFO sightings were all cases of optical illusions. He also believes that the sightings reported by Navy pilots are a mystery, with NASA, one of the most prestigious agencies in the world, clarifying that not all UFO sightings are illusions or hoaxes. It is not surprising to see scientists that take UFOs and even aliens seriously. Greg Eghigian is a professor of history at Penn State University who has been studying the history of UFO sightings and claims of alien contact. He said that for a long time, when someone said they saw a UFO, it seemed to suggest that the witness had fallen for outlandish speculations. However, things have started to change. Academic surveys show that people who said they had seen UFOs tended to have had higher education. This view would be corroborated by Fugel, who tried to be anonymous to protect his other businesses. He felt being known as the UFO guy would negatively affect his businesses as it may creep people out. However, since a documentary about the mysteries of Skinwalker Ranch has aired, Fugel has been surprised by the reaction of the public. He said the response has been mostly of support and genuine curiosity. Fugel has hosted celebrities who are also interested in the paranormal on the ranch, including rapper Post Malone. Meanwhile, Fugel has not given up on trying to unravel the mystery of Skinwalker Ranch. In fact, he is stepping up his investigation. He said further expansion of the investigation would cover human consciousness studies. Fugel said the study would investigate precognitive, sentient, non-human intelligence. He said the phenomenon could anticipate and even be aware of your thoughts and consciousness and react according to the intention that you bring to the property. However, one of the reasons Fugel is not giving up is because he thinks Skinwalker Ranch can tell us much more than just what is happening on the ranch itself. He sees the ranch as a sort of living laboratory for verifying that we are not alone in the universe. He is ready to be led to any conclusion, including whether we are interacting with extraterrestrials, interdimensional phenomena, or spiritual entities. Just what we will discover is going on Skinwalker Ranch, only time will tell. Let's hear what you think of the mysterious activities on Skinwalker Ranch in the comments section below.